Good afternoon. Well, today the DC to DC converter came in the mail from Jim Asbell. As a matter of fact, I just got through editing the not so cheerful flap, which by now you should be watching. And this was in the mail today, so that was real fast. Thank you, Jim. Jim also sent me a 1/4-inch dowel, which can be used for the push button for the other end of that, where that switch goes through the front panel. So let's get a closer look. He's got it in one of these static-free bags, I guess you call it. So let's get a closer look at this. All right. As you can see, he's got the input marked. He told me he put it on standoffs on what appears to be Luan plywood, and little screws holding the whole thing together. If I was to try to duplicate that circuit from the schematic he gave me, the thing would be 1 foot square on a piece of plywood or something, because I don't have anything else to put it on, and it would look like hell and very sloppy. So I just want to give you a close examination here, a close-up look at it. I guess this is the LM317 right here. Jim had told me you don't really need a heatsink on this because it's very little current. It's well within the specs of without a heatsink on it. So what I'm going to do now is to connect up the input. I got the positive wire bent over here, so I'll know. Connect these up off camera because I need to get my face right on it. And we'll run it through and check the voltage. I'm getting 7.08 volts out of this wall wart here right now. Okay, now we're going to check the output unloaded, which should be 3 volts. And unfortunately, I can't show you the digital meter now. Take my word for it. It's 3.215 volts coming out. And the positive is, I'm just verifying, the positive is on the same side. The positive output, which isn't marked here, is on the same side as the positive input. Okay, so we're getting, well, I'm going to have to be jumping around here, but the best I can do. You see the meter? I hope you can see it from the angle I'm holding. I can't really do things good like the professionals do with video, but you have to bear with me under the situations that I'm working under the conditions, I should say. All right, now, what we're going to do, but take my word for it, I got clip leads on, I go into the meter. The scope is not hooked up to this yet. It will be after I solder on the wire. These wires here will be soldered. I make them extra long because I can move them around in the back of the scope. So we're running at 3.215 volts right now, which is what Jim said it'd be. Fixed output. What's going to be drawn off of this is 180 milliamps from the neon scope for the power up the neon scope display. So what we're going to do now is to bring over the scope. So we got to set up the camera in a different location here. Be right back. I don't know if it's going to work, if I burned it up or not. I had a hell of a time getting those connected on there. I was able to tin the metal so it wasn't stainless steel, but I couldn't get the damn things tacked on there because I couldn't see what the hell I was doing. So I hope it didn't burn up the works inside. We'll find out. Let's go try it out. Alright, you're not going to be able to see the scope display. Maybe you can up in the extreme right hand corner, as I'm trying to show everything and I just can't get everything in the screen. We're going to push the button now up here, and we're going to see if it works. Right now there's no voltage output because I didn't push the button yet. Okay, the button is pushed. The display is lit. There's no voltage because I got to put the meter on it. So let's just see what the meter will read. 3.09. 3.09 volts. Can you see that? I hope you can. .09 volts. All right, it's a steady glow. The LM317 is lukewarm, just barely warm. I don't know what the temperature is. All right, let's go with the slow blink. Of course, the digital meter isn't going to respond. You need a analog meter to check the voltage. All right, let's start the rapid. At least I didn't burn the thing up. I had a hell of a time getting them wires to stay on. All right, and the next one should be off. Yup. And when it's off, 3.214 volts. 3.214 volts. If you can't see that, that's what the voltage is when the thing is off. I'll put it on. Let's see if I can do it and keep the connection on. Steady glow. 3.096. 3.096 volts. So it's working very well. And it's pretty warm. Now it should fit in there. Quite warm. It's quite warm. Let's see if my Ryobi thermometer still has a charge in it. My infrared. I have a Harbor Freight too. I bought this one quite a while ago. My Ryobi. You'll take my word for it, you're not going to be able to see the display on the Ryobi. .77 degrees Fahrenheit, 82 degrees on the metal of the LM317, 82, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. That's all I go by. I don't go by Celsius crap. It varies. Let's get the back in. See this here? I think you're in camera. I hope so. $76. Tell you, that's an awful warm 76 degrees Fahrenheit. 82 degrees Fahrenheit. $83 degrees Fahrenheit. Measuring right on the metal part, and I'm reading a lot lower, I'm like 77 degrees on the plastic. But I'll tell you, that's very warm. Not hot, you can't keep your hands on it. But it feels a lot warmer than 83 degrees Fahrenheit. 86 degrees, 86, 87. All right, but I need to do is we'll unplug this here. This wall wart has to come out the back or the bottom of the scope. Here's it displays up here. This has to come out the bottom so that it can be plugged in up there. All right, I got it hot glued in there. I got some hot glue on the underneath and at the each end. It fits right in there and it'll clear perfectly. If I mounted it on here, it would interfere. It would stick up too much. So that fits in there good, and I got to try to get this thing. This is going to be the hardest, trying to get that lined up. And getting the dowel to stay on here is going to be a bear. If I glue that, the chances are it'll come off. So, not sure about that. And we're going to do the easy part first. We're going to take and wire in the supply to the switch here and to the input, and then we'll hot glue it down to here so it'll be like a strain relief like we did with this. We'll do all that off camera. So we're going to have our positive. This is the positive I folded over coming in here to the switch. The other side will go to the positive here, and then this end will go directly to here. Well, like I say, we're going to do all that off camera. I tried to mount this down here so I wouldn't have so much run. But we're going to do some measurement with the wiring first up here to make sure that when the wall wart is plugged in here, it'll be enough wire to go through. If not, I'll add more wire and you won't see it on the inside of the back of the scope. All right, I opened this cover here by way of taking the screw out. This part here holds the circuit board, and because I soldered to this thing will not slide out of here, and I'm not about to force it out. But what I tried to do is with a magnifier and lots of light, I pushed on this button here, okay, and I'm not taking this off again to show you, take my word for it. It's about a 1/4-inch piece of plastic that goes to the circuit board, and when I push on this, the entire piece of plastic moves in and out. So in other words, this is one solid button, and then it goes to the circuit board. So rather than to use the dowel that Jim sent me, which would be impossible for me to get it to stay on, I don't have anything to point with. Sorry, fingers were invented before pointers. I'm thinking it's going to be very difficult, but I'm thinking of drilling a tiny hole in the middle of this solid plastic button, okay? And then taking a self-tapping small Phillips screw and screwing it into the button. Hopefully I can drill a hole down about a 1/4 of an inch or less. Then the screw will be sticking out of the side of this and would be inserted in here, and so you'd have a screw head coming through the top, and that would be your push button. I'm going to do all this off camera. Wish me luck. I got the hole drilled, but the whole button spins around with the drill. I got it in, I would say probably 3/16 deep. And there's no way I'm going to get a screw in there because I can't hold it still, and I can't open this thing up and grab it with a pair of pliers. So that idea may have to be scrapped. I haven't tried a screw in there yet, but I'll do that off camera. But I have a feeling I'm going to have to put something in that hole and maybe use the dowel that Jim gave me and glue it, and that can be used as a centering pin. But I have a feeling that if I glue that glue's going to run right into it'll lock my button up. I found a perfect screw, but I'm not going to be able to screw it in because the button keeps turning. And I don't want to risk jamming a small screwdriver on the edge of the button. I might try it gently. That's not going to be easy for me. And to keep the button from turning, because then if I can successfully get that in there and get it to thread in, I can get it to fit this hole here. Because the head of this screw goes right in there. So what you're looking at is the top of the screw, which don't look too bad. It's got a little collar on it that's made with the screw, and if I can get that to thread in, but there isn't much to thread into. Well, we'll give it a try off camera. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Well, I got it in. I jammed a little screwdriver down in there. The whole thing spins around. It still clicks. But I have no idea if that's going to stay in there or not. I don't dare try to get any Duco cement in there between the base of that screw and the button head, even with a toothpick, which I don't have, because the glue is liable to run down in there, and that Duco cement will lock that up tight. So once I put this thing in and hot glue it, it's in to stay. So let's see if this thing will fit through the hole down here. If I can get this camera moved over without my clumsiness knocking it over here. Stupid me, I didn't make that mark that I was telling you I was going to make right here, so I don't know if that's going to clear it or not. But as you look at the other side of this, which you can't see because I can't do two things at once, it sticks out quite a bit on the front panel. Maybe I should check and see if this thing is still working. Yeah, it's still working. So, this goes through the hole here. I don't know, I had that measured out pretty good, I don't know. But there's the button right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Alright, what I did is I decided not to put it here because this button, homemade button here, off camera again, is not centered in the hole, and it's jammed right up against this switch right here. Which, as I said before, I took it all apart just to use it because it was a 6-position switch. And I decided to put it over here. Then there's plenty of room now where I can move this like this, and I got plenty of room here for the wood border. The border comes right up to these. So with this in here, as you can see, this sticks out a little bit more than this. By a little bit. Not much. This was too heavy a metal for me to cut. I'll take it down and grind it. I'm not going to go doing that. It's super cold out there today. So we'll use this. Now this position here is the test point, which is what we were going to use, is one of the options we were going to use anyways. But we were going to use the intensity modulation. So what I can do, as I told you before, this binding post was missing. I just took this one out. We'll put the LED in here, and we'll put the push button in here. So that should work out good, and then I'll be able to put this back into the framework down here without a problem and without having to cut any of the wood. Well, it still sticks out a mile, so the saying goes. There's nothing much I can do about that. I don't know if you can see that or not. I cannot see the viewfinder from where I am. Take my word for it, it's sticking out about a good 3/8 of an inch from the front panel. So I'm afraid as time goes on when I'm pushing that, if I go a little sideways, it could come off. And then with the hot glue on here, I'll probably never get it off without breaking it. Because once it's glued on, you're not going to be able to remove it because you can't get at the glue. I'm going to try to glue this on here. I think I got you in camera. We got to heat up the hot glue, and this is going to be a very difficult thing for me to do. And I don't know, I have to get another glue stick out, I believe. And what's going to be hard, let's try to get this light out of the way here a little bit. What's going to be very hard is centering this in the hole once I put the glue on, because if I don't get it centered, it's going to hit the threads of the screw and it's going to make it difficult to go in, and then I'll have a tendency to push it one side or the other. Now these wires are extra long, but that's the way I do things. Now I can shorten them in here when I'm all done. But I gotta, this is the output, so I need to tap into this anyways to get the LED powered, which is going to go right here. And I haven't found an LED yet that I could actually mount in here. I've got LEDs, but they're going to have to be siliconed in place. I would like to use an old style bezel, red or green, but that would be incandescent and this will not run that. So let me get a glue stick and get ready to glue that in, and hopefully I can center it properly. Panel is cold. Got my light jacket on, so the shop isn't exactly warm, even though I got the electric heater. I did put the Mr. Heater on a couple hours ago. I've been working on this for a few hours now. Do is heat up the faceplate a little bit, maybe. Now I got another glue stick for this. I'm not sure if I'm going to need it. Let's see if that's warming up. Not really. Of course, I'm heat sinking out the tip, so that's going to defeat the purpose. It didn't seem to heat it up at all. So I put the glue on this, and then hopefully it'll center and stay in place. But I don't want to get glue on around the button, so we'll just do it in this area here. Of course, the little red LED is going to be hidden. It's going to be hard to get that centered in the hole. I gotta get my light up higher, or I'm going to be banging into it. Okay, that's centered right there. You can hear the switch clicking.